Right, in this video we will show you how to install, search and uninstall pre-compiled binaries, compile software via ports, and determine which packages need updating or upgrading. Some of the tools used will be PKG install, PKG delete, PKG info, PKG upgrade, make, and one or two others. Overall, is to show you how to use different package management in FreeBSD. The first command we're going to use is PKG Search, and as you probably can guess, it's to search for a particular program that you might want to install. So we've got PKG Search, say for instance Libra. It's a catch-all name, but it'll bring up everything that's actually got Libra in the name. There's a lot of information there, so if you can know the specific name of the package you want, it does narrow it down a bit. So if we issue PKG install, and we know the name of what we want to install, and it's mock, so it's music on console. It's a wonderful little MP3 player, and it brings up the file to be installed. It gives you various information. Sometimes it can tell you the dependencies, but in this case there isn't, so we'll just go ahead with it, and then it's done. So PKG install the name of the file you want to install. We'll just come out of that and we'll just clear. Right, if we actually use it, and this it's a nice cursors based MP3 player. You can find out about an application that's been installed if you do PKG info, the name of the application. So we just installed mock, so I'll put mock, we'll pipe it into less to stop the scrolling, and the information it shows is the maintainer, when you installed it, overall license and stuff like that. The one in the red square shows you the default switches, as it were, that are actually compiled into the pre-compiled binary. So if some things that you want are not there, you just have to accept it, unless you install it via port, and you can turn them options on. If you no longer want a particular application, just go PKG and delete, and then the name of the application you want to delete. So we'll get rid of mock, and it's gone. If you want to be more specific in your install, so you want to make sure that you install the version number that you actually want, although just putting the name will usually install the latest one in the database. But if you want to install a particular version like 2.5.2_4, you can actually put the full name with the version number, and it'll do the same thing. So the free commands is PKG Search, PKG Install, and PKG Delete. All pretty self-explanatory. And there are one or two other ones related to PKG, but they're the core ones that we're actually looking at now. Right, the other way to install software in FreeBSD is to use ports. And that's where you compile your own version of the software from source. So you do a portsnap fetch to bring the latest tree. It applies the patches, so any updates or version changes. If it's the first time you've used portsnap, then you would use extract to actually put down the entire tree. If it's subsequent time you've used it, then you would use update, and that would refresh the ports tree. In this case, it's just updating it. If there are any updates to be given, of course. You can do portsnap auto, and what that will do, it will both fetch and update if applicable. And assuming if it's just updated, there's nothing to actually to do. But that stops you from typing it all out, and it's, you know, a little shortcut. You could type out portsnap fetch $& portsnap update as a long version, or portsnap auto. I would prefer to do the long version, just to, you know, just for completion really. But portsnap auto is fine. If you want to find out where a particular port is, if you put whereis in the name of the ports, or whereis mock, you'll get two entries. Look, user local bin will tell you it's already installed, and user ports audio mock will tell you whereabouts it is in the ports directory. So we'll just delete this so we can install it again. Yeah, for some reason it's still listed in that bin mock, but it's not installed. So the most important part we want is user ports audio mock. So if you just go into that directory, do a quick ls, you got dist install, files, make file, PKG description, PKG list. The commands that we're using is make, install, and make install and clean. But you don't write them separately like that. Well, you could do, but you know, you tend to put them all in one line, which is make install clean, and that will get the process rolling. If you want to change some of the switches in the port, if you want to enable or disable a particular feature, then you use make config. Now remember the PKG that we installed? Well, that actually has a lot of default switches already there. You may not like them, you may not want them, and this is the way that you can alter them. So for instance, we keep MP3 on. If we don't need FMPEG, say for instance you don't need whereis, we can disable that. And we won't need FLAC, we can disable that. And then we can recompile it. And to compile it again, remember it's make install clean. Doesn't take too long in a short, in a small file like this. And we'll just come out of root and try mock now. It will look the same, of course, but now it probably won't play FLAC or whereis. Let's go back into root. And we use PKG info just to check mock. You would see the differences. So if we go up to, there's whereis. Oh, there's the original. Whereis is off now, whereas on the original one it was on. And just to reverse what we were doing, if you just re-enable them and then recompile, it will bring it to as it was, as if you install it via PKG. Sometimes you get an error that says you may wish to make deinstall. It's telling you that it's already installed and that what you're doing is trying to install it again. So to deinstall a port, just make deinstall. As I remember, it was PKG delete. If you're uninstalling a port, it's make deinstall. It does the same things. And then you just run make install clean again. You see, checking mock, it's not there. So if you just make install clean again, there you go. It's a lot shorter this time because it's already been cached. Try it again. There you go. Now if you check PKG info again, you'll see that whereis is now on and FLAC is now on too. Again. So there is an element of flexibility when it comes to ports. If you look at the man page for Make, it is pretty extensive, as you would expect. There's a lot of power to it. And it's really not advisable for you to mix ports and packages together. If you're going to install a system using PKG, then you tend to just like stick to that. There might be occasions when you need to go for install a port, like to change some options in FFmpeg, but generally you don't mix them together because you can create a problem. A good third-party option is Portmaster. Now to get Portmaster, you have to install it via PKG or Make it, or install it via ports. But Portmaster will do all the work for you. It will do the installing, the fetching, the cleaning, etc. And you can have the same options as using make config. But it will also automatically pull in other files that may not have been pulled in. Say for instance, when we use that make install clean, it didn't ask to pull in or upgrade libwhereis. Portmaster will do that for you automatically if there are any updates, and some people like that, some people don't. It's alright with me. I tend to use Portmaster a lot. But, you know, horses for courses, really. It depends on your point of view. To update the programs and applications on your system, you have a couple of ways that are built in and a few ways that are extra, like Popmaster. So if you do PKG update, that will bring in the latest list of packages. Tend to do that anyway if you're going to install via PKG, just to get the latest ones in. We use PKG upgrade, which is a catch-all that will ask your system to try and upgrade everything that needs to be upgraded. And you can get quite a large list. If there are any packages you don't want to be upgraded, you can actually use PKG lock, and we'll lock mock this time. Lock mock, that rhymes. We'll lock mock, and it's asking you, look, do you want to lock this? Yes, we do. And then if you do PKG upgrade again, it will list them all out as it did before, but mock is not there now. And that's pretty useful if you've, for whatever reason, you don't want upgrade to break your system, as it's done once or twice running. We can unlock again just by PKG unlock. And it's there at the bottom again. And there's quite a few things that need to be upgraded. And that really does tend to be my favoured way of doing that. So we'll just start it and we'll just fast forward. It doesn't take long anyway, but you know, just for brevity. Sometimes it will ask you again, that's if it's changed some libraries beforehand before proceeding with the main upgrading. Just type yes again. And we'll fast forward again. And if you run upgrade, yeah, all your packages are up to date. So that's how you upgrade your installed applications via package. You can, and it's quite advisable, you can read something called updating, which gives you a list of all the changes before you start upgrading your packages. This really does apply only if you're using ports, but it's just generally good to have a look at updating. It gives you some heads up on some changes, what directories, and just various things like that. Very useful to do, very advisable to do. But you can have a look at updating that way, or using Nano or any editor you wish. If you've got user ports, updating in capitals, it will do the same thing. And there you go, there's loads of information. Right, well, I'm going to put portsnap auto. Remember that will fetch and update the ports tree. Even though we're using ports, we can use PKG still to actually see what needs to be upgraded. So PKG version -v capital I capital L will bring up a list of all the ports. Remember, this is not packages but ports that we could upgrade. And if we put the A switch, we will ask it to actually upgrade everything, and it will set everything in motion. So maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to target a particular application to upgrade. So we don't want portmaster A. We will just put portmaster, the name of the particular application, in this term, X term, to upgrade. So we actually interrupt that. If we use portmaster A, that upgrades everything, and portmaster, the name of the application to upgrade it, is more focused on that particular one. To do it the old-fashioned way, you go into actual user ports and the name of what you want to upgrade, so X11 and then X term, and you could just, I don't know, deinstall it and install again. So we'll make install clean as we did before. Comes up with the error because it's already installed. We'll deinstall that and then install it, and then we now have the new version. So you could do it that way. And if we again list the applications to be upgraded, Xterm is not there because we've just updated it. There is another, what we can use is called port upgrade. And it will first generate a little mini database of its own to keep in mind what we've got installed. Then if you upgrade TDB, for instance, it will upgrade just that particular port. There's a bit more detail involved. It does a lot more checking, and again, some people would prefer this way of doing it. Port upgrade is a third-party application like Popmaster is. And done. Ignore the fact that we're actually still in the Xterm directory, that really doesn't matter. So for packages, we can PKG update and then PKG upgrade, either all or a single file. Portsnap auto, which will do fetch and update. PKG-VIL will actually give you all the list of all the ones that can be upgraded. And then if you want, you can CD into the actual port directory and do it manually. And that's that. I haven't gone into too much depth on this particular guide. This is just a general overview of all the different ways you can update the system. I know that some people will say, oh, you know, there's this way and that way, and that's fine. You know, if you've got any other way that you prefer to do it or any tips and tricks, please leave them in the comment section down below. And the best one I'll pin to the top. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.